Hey guys, Matt Dog here with another video. I went live for the first time and had a ton of fun. We were on stream for 6.5 hours, like 50 to 70 viewers the whole time. Super fun. The chat was really living it up, and we competed in the Master Duel World Championship Qualifier. We ended up going like 14-10, so like overall a winning record, but I didn't really have time to grind it out a ton, but there were so many fun games that we ended up having, so I just want to share some of the highlight games and talk about them. So you'll also be able to see all these games on the live stream. It's saved on my channel if you go to like live next to like videos and stuff. Or if you go to playlists, there's the live stream playlist that I have with one video in it. I'm actually going in reverse order. So this was the last game I did for the live stream, and it ended on an absolute banger. Like, this was a fantastic game. The chat was freaking out. I was freaking out. Instead of saving the best for last, I'm saving the best for first, just because we get to show it off right away. Here we're going second against Fire King Snake Eyes, and they seem like they're kind of going full combo. What do they got here? They've got Ambla Whale. They have a Monster Negate. Promethean Princess Engrave. This is going to be... They have a lot of engine for next turn, and they're going to punish me as soon as I start doing stuff. But obviously we have evenly matched, so even the odds. Nice. So here he chooses not to activate Princess. I would have called by the grave on Princess if he had, but because he didn't, I'm like, okay, I'll just hold on to my Called by the Grave until next turn. In the end, I think I probably should have banished Promethean Princess, because she kind of ends up making an impact. Here, another thing is they crashed to destroy a card so that they could start popping off and doing stuff, but maybe I shouldn't have done that. We at least get to send the Ambla Whale to grave, but now things are looking not so good. Again, maybe I should have held on to my Called by the Grave and just been patient, because now even though I summon my Eldlich, Promethean Princess still pops everything. He is a royal rare Promethean Princess, by the way. Very cool. Yeah, especially because I drew into another Eldlixir, so... Oh, and he had a Called by the Grave, so... Yeah, the Called by the Grave there on his Ash instead of the Princess was a pretty big mistake on my part, and ends up making this game a lot harder than it needs to be. What's he gonna do? Alright, he's got full engine. He wants to do a lot of damage, but luckily he had one non-link on the field, so that Karma Cannon would be live. Oh, popping off. He does get to destroy... So he knows that that's a Conquistador, so he chooses not to destroy it because he knows it has a graveyard effect. That said, activating Conquistador here allows us to also summon out Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess tries to destroy Paleozoic Marilla, but it's unaffected by monster effects. That said, he still gets to pop the other card, so... How are we going to handle this? Nice. Okay, he doesn't have the Princess to start popping us. Shoot! Okay, now he's going to destroy the Dark Charmer. For some reason he chose not to destroy the Dark Charmer, maybe because the Dark Charmer does get a search. So here I made a really important choice. I know that he has Promethean Princess ready to pop whatever I summon to the field. I think he was waiting for me to make Selene, because while Selene is gaining counters, he can just pop it. Obviously, you can't wait until I make Access Code, because he can't respond to Access Code's effects. But that's what I think he was doing, was waiting for me to go into Promethean Princess. So because I couldn't go into Promethean Princess, the only other link that made sense for me to go into is Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, because we made him with the level 7 Diabell Star that we stole from his graveyard. He is untargetable and indestructible, and after he destroys one of their cards by battle, he's going to gain 1500 attack. So I was actually talking with chat during this part of the duel. I was like, okay, what does Snake Eye Fired Kings have that can destroy something that's untargetable, indestructible, and 4500 attack? Like, I'm not sure if in his extra deck he's running Underworld Goddess, but if he does have Underworld Goddess, he would need to have 4 separate monsters just to get rid of him. And at that point, they've given up 4 monsters, which is a lot of material. Maybe he could make World Sea Dragon Zelantis. I think that's probably the best way to deal with it. But it seems like he doesn't run it. Okay, so now he makes his new out. Okay, hold on. His new out is the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. So when one of his cards gets destroyed, it can summon out itself and gain attack. So his plan is he links it off into the Fire Charmer. He destroys, Hilta or Hyeta, and then it's going to come back and gain attack. However, Blackluster Soldier's effect isn't only during our turn. When our card destroys any monster by battle, it can gain 1500 attack. So now even though he's going to summon out a monster with 4600 attack, we now have 6000 attack. And at this point, we probably don't need to keep gaining any more attack. He can't get over 6000. If he's going to out it, he's going to out it with something else. So we can either start banishing cards on the field non-targeting, or make it so he can attack twice per turn, so he can't just keep setting cards to stall the game out. And he surrenders. The Blackluster Soldier triumphs. What an absolute Giga Chad. It was so great because I didn't realize the interaction of his way of defeating it would play into Blackluster Soldier, making it so he couldn't defeat it anymore. It was outstanding. Alright. Duel number 2. Yeah, during the Duelist Cup, you can't see what decks your opponent is playing, unfortunately, because we played some really cool decks that I would copy otherwise. Going first game. Okay. Yeah, we get hit with a lot of Ash Blossoms in this event, which ends up making me go grab, like, Gamma, just as, like, another way to deal with Ash Blossom, because it was so annoying. Alright, so we're going up against a Horus deck. Oh, like a Horus zombie deck. Interesting. This was a huge mistake here. He's going second, and I have a bunch of back row. He should make like a Dingirsu, or, he should make, or Hope Harbinger, like literally anything other than this. Like, this is never going to help you. And in fact, it's even worse because now it's not Horus monsters that are indestructible and stuff. At this point, he's summoned all 4 Horus monsters, so I'm just going to flip everything face down. Maybe I could have waited until he sacrifices the card in hand to try to bring this Plague Spreader to the field, but whatever. We still have a Trap Trick, which we can use just to get the Eldlich engine going. Yeah, Trap Trick is so versatile, man. We can also banish it so that at the draw phase of their turn, we're going to be able to destroy his Golden Sarcophagus. We send both an Imseti, summon both an Imseti and a Happy. We can actually steal his level 2 tuner to make Chaos Angel. It's the only level 10 synchro we're running in the deck. I probably could have banished the King Sarcophagus there, but, it doesn't really matter. We're going to pop everything. And then we make Selene, and we make Access Code. Get 2 more pops. I could have just popped the monsters and gone for game, but we're going to be able to summon Eldlich here, so one way or another we got game. Probably not the most efficient path, but I think it's fun to be able to steal monsters, show off Chaos Angel, who is another one of those Giga Chad cards that I love, that maybe doesn't come up as much. GG, thank you. All right, if I'm remembering correctly, during the stream, there were a couple times when I'd go on like a 2 or 3 game loss streak, and to kind of go get a palate cleanser, we would go back to the ranked ladder. This is the Runick game. Okay, I remember I enjoyed this game because going up against some of these plays, some of these decks that are like Stun or Runick or even Kashtira, like they feel like chess games where you have to figure out the right way to crack the board, and you have time to do that because they kind of stall for a while. So it can be kind of an interesting change of pace to try to deal with them. That being said, I also remember this game, I made like 1,000 misplays. So even though like I enjoyed it, especially because I won, but I also made a lot of mistakes. So here he has this card, and I know that it makes it so like level higher or level 6 or higher monsters cannot attack. I was like, oh yeah, that's the card that makes it so you can't attack. However, I am a typical Yu-Gi-Oh player, so I cannot read. Players cannot activate those effects either. So I'm going to try to summon Diabellstar. I'm going to talk to chat for like a minute being like, what? Why didn't it activate? What's going on? And then like all of my chat is like the continuous trap, the trap card, can't read, LMAO. It was very funny. We activate a Lord of Heavenly Prison so we can set exactly the card we want. Can't attack yet. I don't use Cursed Eldland because I figure we're going to have a few turns, so we don't need to be hasty. I set Grass, which is probably a bad idea. I don't want to mill out my deck against a deck that's like trying to banish everything and deck me out. But they also destroyed it, so whatever. They constantly are using this card too to get a bunch of draws, which is really good in a Runick deck because they can activate all their spells from hand. So it's sort of like the hand trap thing where you also need to take advantage of the fact that you're summoning them. Here I take out, I could have taken out the field spell, which would really hinder them. The fact that they have they have one of their monsters already means they can't summon out the dog that would recover the field spell from the graveyard. And I think this affects them, so they can't even like crash into my monsters to destroy itself. So probably the right thing would have been good to go for the field spell, but my plan is to, I don't know, take out all their floodgates instead, I guess. So I was hoping to make like a rank 8 or maybe make black... Okay, so actually what I was trying to do is I wanted to make Blackluster Soldier, destroy this guy, banish the field spell. I wouldn't have been able to attack him this turn, but Blackluster Soldier is also untargetable and indestructible. So like, he can't really deal with Blackluster Soldier either until it's time. We use Wanted to recover a banished card, and this is actually an amazing top deck. Like, I've made a couple of mistakes with who I'm targeting, how the order I'm summoning cards and stuff, but the fact that we get this Omni-Negate is gonna end up helping us out a ton. What do we have in the grave? We do have a rollback in grave, so I'm hoping to get an Elemental Burst in grave to destroy all their cards, but they do have a Hugin that kind of protects their cards as well. Kaiser Coliseum means that we can only control one monster on the field, so now we can't like summon out a Conquistador to get a pop. Here I wanted to get rid of Eldlich, so Eldlich could banish to set a Conquistador and then I can destroy a card, but Kaiser Coliseum kind of foiled that. We do negate the Runick Fountain, so this means that they can't be activating their quick play spells during my turn, and they're not going to be getting any draws anymore. So they are super limited now. We just need to take out their floodgates. Like, being negated in the field zone is almost as good as being banished. Okay, we have an Elemental Burst. Again, I am very bad at reading, so the way Hugin works is if you would destroy her and other cards, she can't protect them. That's why, like, Guardian Chimera can pop both her and the Runick Fountain, and she can't protect herself. So here, all I need to do is use Eldlich, grab Elemental Burst. Elemental Burst destroys everything, and then it's just game in like 1 or 2 plays. But This is also close to the end of a 6.5-hour stream, so it's going to take probably a couple of turns for me to read the chat and see the chat saying, Elemental Burst works. No, Matt Dog, what are you doing? Just use Elemental Burst, it's okay. I had fun, though. Yep, Boomseti, grab a card. Finally, okay, now we're using Elemental Burst. Okay, so there, that actually does need to slow us down for a turn, because Hugin will be indestructible. That means all of his other cards would be protected if I used Elemental Burst, but we just wait a turn. Yep, you're negated. So now we can destroy them. Yeah, I could have destroyed them during the battle phase, but it was until the end phase that I finally read chat and understood what they were saying. Very fun, though. We had a lot of games where we got to resolve Elemental Burst. It was really fun. Yeah, I do want to do more live streams in the future. It might not always be easy, but what I can do is I can schedule them. So, like, even like up to a couple days before I'll actually do the stream, it'll show up if you've subscribed to my channel and hit the bell icon. You'll get a little notification saying like Matt Dog is gonna go live, and then you can look at the schedule, and then it'll say that I'm gonna go live on this day at this time. So that's a roundabout way of saying subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like the videos and want to see more, and also live streams if you want to be able to be here live. Another Snake Eyes duel. Yeah, there was a point where everyone in chat was going like, wow, another Snake Eyes player, oh my gosh. This event is 90% Snake Eyes. True, it is. So we have a solid hand. Let's see, we can get the rollback engrave, and we can use the Paleozoic Marillas, assuming they don't pop anything. Yeah, we're just gonna call by the grave on Promethean Princess right away, just like don't want to deal with that. We can send that. So here I want to use a new XYZ target. I feel like all the duels that I'm showing also feature new cards that we threw into the deck, or like unique-ish cards, like Chaos Angel, Blackluster Soldier. Here we have Runick, the Fire King, Hyung of Fire Kings. So it's like a walking black hole. You summon it, it destroys all of the monsters on the field. Our Horus monsters wouldn't be affected, so they wouldn't get destroyed. Not that they would usually be on the field, because we have to use 2 of them to make them in the first place. But also our Eldlich, if he's indestructible, will be protected. And then separately, we can also destroy 1 spell or trap on the field. So this is a good way to kind of clear their board. But they have an effect failure. And we go to 0, so now we can't even make Zeus. Feels bad. But we have multiple Paleozoic Marillas, so we can send Elemental Burst at any time and we're good. I'll probably wait until after Snake Eyes Flamberge has activated his effect to summon twice, though. If you've watched my channel for a while, then you know that that's kind of the target. Unfortunately, they do make an SP Little Knight to banish that, but then they immediately link it off, so they can't save their cards from Elemental Burst. Goodbye. I do that first in order to get rid of the Link monster, because it has an effect where if it's destroyed, then it gets to special summon. And they just surrender. Obviously, we had another Paleozoic Marilla, so we could blow them up again next turn if they keep doing stuff, but yeah, we had too much engine. We had the Horus cards. GG. I think a lot of the duels that I'm saving were going second, but also a lot of the games live were going second. Like, the RNG was kind of wacky. Like, there's a period where over the course of 5 games, we had Happy, the Horus monster that does nothing, in our hand, like in our starting hand, like 3 of those 5 games. There was a period where we had like 7 games, and of those, like 6 of them, we had to go second. And we won like 5 of them. So like, A lot of very fun going second games, all like in a row going live. It was a lot of fun. We're running Gamma, which I put it in because I was kind of molding about getting hit with Ash Blossom so much, but it's like not bad. It's like interruption our opponent's turn either. Tearlaments is kind of a rough deck for us. They have a lot of interruptions that are hard, the shufflers and so on. Okay, they have IP Masquerena, they have a Shuffler, and they have a Snow Engrave, probably because they want to summon it so that they can make SP Little Knight without sacrificing Rukalos. How are we going to deal with this? I'll just use Called by the Grave on... oh, I think if this is the duel that I think it is, I like activated Called by the Grave, and then they combo off for like a minute and a half, and I legit like got completely distracted and was like going over to YouTube, like reading the comments, liking comments and stuff. And then I came back and like they were just slowly going through their combo forever. Might not have been that duel, but like it's a lot slower in real time. For some reason he chooses not to make SP Little Knight there. Alright, so this is gonna be tough. We have a couple of Karma Cannons, which will keep us alive. Yeah. They do pop Elemental Burst, which is probably one of the best cards they could pop. Yep, Karma Cannon. I think they actually could have flipped over this monster, but they like chose not to. We summon him so we can like link him off. But instead of linking him off, we just use him as fuel for Diabellstar. We destroy her by battle, so she doesn't have her effect. We have an Omni Negate, which we're probably going to use on one of their spell cards. We have an Eldlich, which we can use as fuel for the Diabellstar. Battle. And we chain so that Diabellstar is off the field so we can actually get a negate off. And she gets a search too. A Wanted, which is nice just to get an extra draw, extra engine. Conquistador, again, is probably just going to be fuel, but we'll see. This is negated forever, so they're not getting any pops anymore. Get a draw? What are we going to get? Okay. Yeah, we just keep using the Eldlich engine as, like, fuel to keep other cards that require discards going. Yeah, they made a big mistake. They used Fairy Tale Snow to flip one of our monsters over, but they flipped the wrong one. So we can just flip it back on our turn, and we make the Dark Charmer. We're going to try to steal their IP. Unfortunately, we ended up... we forced out their Shuffler anyways. So they shuffled back our Eldlich card, so no more Eldlich engine. They had one more shuffle they could have used. They choose not to shuffle back Elemental Burst, however, which is a big mistake. So 3 rollbacks. We'll just kind of rip the Band-Aid off now. They get a couple of effects when destroyed, but they're not going to get them a second time. And also we can just lock their monster in the back row. It was face down, so we couldn't do that beforehand. We could have gone into, like, Selene and access code there, but we can also just attack. Oh, they also were losing on time limit. That's rough. Teller, I guess you gotta tell it to the mountain. Go tell her on the mountain. Next duel. Okay, so we're going second, so Gamma's not bad to have. Yeah, at this point I was like listening to chat too. I was like, okay, where's the best place to try to use Gamma? Like my instinct is to try to use it here to hit Vion, but he had an Ash Blossom. I could have used it there. Gamma's not once per turn, but I chose not to. So I'm still waiting for the right time to use Gamma. Someone in chat said to use it on Infernal, but then I use it here and they're like, no, not that Infernal. So It was going to grab them 2 cards from the grave, but yeah, that poly that they got from Bion is really big. Now they get to like draw 2 and discard 1. The discard gets some fuel. They can descend a card to grave. Yeah, they're popping off of it. Luckily, we're going second, so they're not about to kill us for anything. Okay. Yeah, it's really bad for them to get poly because they can use it twice like that. Okay, they have Phoenix Enforcer, but we have Called by the Grave. Wingman, he gets a search. Alright, so that trap card is really important. It's going to allow them to summon a monster that can destroy up to cards up to the number of different types of attributes they have. So that'd be like 3, because I think it's a light. Pot of Prosperity, what are we going to grab? Obviously, you don't have to worry about an Ash Blossom. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get like a Horus card or a Grass or something, but Lord of Heavenly Prison is probably what we need to grab, because we need to keep them from destroying our cards. Like, this trap would just absolutely destroy us. I want to use Called by the Grave on DPE, but he hasn't allowed us yet. Here I wait for him to do stuff, because I don't want him to flip Favorite Contact and destroy whatever cards I don't have. So I wait for everything to happen, and now I'm gonna trigger Lord. Here, what he could do is he could use DPE to pop one of his cards and pop Conquistador. He chose to summon a different monster. Instead of the one that pops a bunch of cards, it's the one that can attack multiple times and do like burn damage every time it attacks. So it's like the OTK card, which is good because it's not protected from being destroyed. He uses an Ash Blossom. Because we flipped a trap, we're going to be able to activate Lord on this chain. So we activate Lord before Eldlich is going to resolve to lock us into zombies. And then we can also activate Called by the Grave on the Ash so we can pop this. We have to pop it, otherwise it'll burn us and we'll die. So unfortunately that Called by the Grave was used on DPE, or was not used on DPE rather. So here, I could have grabbed a number of cards. I wanted to grab something that he would choose to destroy because I have a Laquero, and I want his DPE to be in the graveyard during his next draw phase so I can banish it. And I didn't put grass there because like I might want to draw grass. Or I guess I can do it during his end phase. So we could synchro into Chaos Angel. We have a ton of things we could do. We'll just link into the Dark Charmer. I was hoping I could steal his fusion, but it was actually a light monster, so that was a mistake I made. Celine can actually summon spellcasters from the hand, which is something I didn't realize until this duel. I'm learning something every day. Alright, we're absolutely popping off now. 1 pop. That was Mass Change. I'm surprised they hadn't used it before on Denier, but whatever. Yeah, I think we had game there too. My game kind of froze for a second. It was like the player where it was like, wait, what's happening? World Qualifiers. 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. Yeah, this was also really nice because like playing 6.5 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh! Straight with a bunch of people in the comments kind of like making propositions on different cards to add or to take out was nice. Like our goal in part is to try to figure out what the best version of Eldlich out there is. And among the casualties of figuring out what the best cards are, might be Trap Tantalizing Tune, unfortunately. I really like it as a consistency card, but there were just too many times when they had an Ash Blossom, or we would top deck it, but we don't have like any normal traps to use off of it. So we ended up using the pot cards instead. The downside of the pot cards is you can't like have other cards that let you draw as well, such as Imseti or the Wanted spell. But Wanted is limited to 1, and like the Trap Tantalizing Tune is a card that goes -1. So like even though pot locks you out of draws. If you had a pot plus an Imseti, you draw the same number of cards in the best case scenario as Trap Tantalizing Tune plus Imseti, but you know, in the worst case scenarios, you don't lose as much. All right, we're going second. We know 4 of their set cards. We don't know what the 5th set card is. We're hoping it's not called by their grave, so we can just force the Bro Negate out now. Okay, good, we got it. He does not have an Ash Blossom, so that's good. We can save the called by on something else. Imseti. Alright, he's going to destroy it. In this case, we actually just sacrifice the called by to grab Happy. Alright, we have a Torrential Tribute, which is great, because Happy won't be destroyed by it. And we have our full Eldlich package as well. They did flip Happy over, though, so now he will be destroyed. Although Lord of Heavenly Prison would protect him from being destroyed. I figure destroying 5 cards is a decent spot. It also means that we get to set Lord, so we're kind of daring them to have something. Destroying the field spell is nice. They don't get an extra normal summon. They don't get to recycle all their spells and traps that are in the grave, and they don't get a draw. So, like, even if they summon the level 9, they can't set any of the spells and traps that are trapped in their graveyard. GG. 1-1-1-1-1. Alright, these games are both in the ranked ladder. What was this one? I think this is the Kashtira game, if I... No, this is like a... Oh, interesting. It's like a Kashtira Dogmatica. See, this is why I like being able to see my opponent's decks. Like, this is really cool. Oh, no, he has the Royal Rare, like, White Relic and stuff, but he doesn't have the Royal Rare Elbazoa. Feels bad. Imagine not having a Royal Rare Elbazoa. Couldn't be me. Yeah, Kashtira is a tough deck because, like, there's a duel that I don't think I'm showing in this video, but that it's in the live stream, where we, like, use evenly matched on someone, and the only card they keep was Macrocosmos, and we just couldn't play. It just, like, was totally devastating for us. Something I talked about during stream, though, is, like, even though Macrocosmos is really bad for us, there are so many really strong decks that use the graveyard, which means that they don't also play Macrocosmos. So, like, in a way, the meta, like, us using a resource that's the same as, like, the really meta cards, actually protects us from those types of floodgates. They do have a Rise Heart, but we're gonna use Skill Drain. Yep, goodbye. We're also going to flip things over. We don't want to lose attack. We have a Grass. Hopefully they don't Ash Blossom us. Nice. Okay, do we have a rollback? Yes, so we have Elemental Burst and rollback. They're going to try to banish 3 of our cards. However, first of all, because it's a quick play spell, we can just chain it to destroy everything. And secondly, because Birth is a continuous spell, its effect is negated if it gets destroyed. Outstanding. That's kind of the big difference that the 60 card deck has over like 40 card decks. I think this is a stun player. Yeah. The big difference that 60 card decks has is you can resolve Grass, which usually puts a couple of rollbacks plus an Elemental Burst or an Evenly Matched or something in the grave, which is a super nice resource. Like, having played both the 40 card version and the 60 card version, I feel like the 60 card version is more consistent. Like, I don't know how that's possible. I mean, the way it's possible is because we have Grass and 3 copies of Thrust that can search Grass, and Lord of Heavenly Prison can search Grass, which, because we benefit off of Grass from getting our spells and traps in the grave, it's really strong. Oh, there's an alert for a stream. I couldn't make it, unfortunately. Very busy today. So we're going to get against a stun player. and unfortunately all of my Solemn Strikes are useless. This trap card is really interesting. It makes his card untargetable and indestructible by battle or card effects. However, it also means it can't attack us directly. So even though he's protecting, you know, the floodgate, like, it doesn't matter because he can't kill us. So one thing, this duel goes on for a while. One thing I said to chat was like, one of our outs might legitimately just be to deck him out. Like, he draws 2 cards per turn. It's like 14 more turns. He has Great Sea Golgonda, which protects him from destruction effects. What do we have engraved? He has Necro Valley too, which means that Transaction Rollback wouldn't be able to copy Elemental Burst. So we do get an Elemental Burst in the grave, but we still need to find a way to get rid of Necro Valley. And it took me like a couple of minutes as he's like, you know, as the game was going, for me to figure out what the out is. There we bait out the Solemn Judgment. We knew that he drew it. Either he lets it go through and he loses like half his cards, or it doesn't. And this was the out. Cursed Eldland, add Eldlich, throw another rollback, get rid of Necro Valley, Elemental Burst, destroys everything. Although it would, but they also have Great Sand Sea Golgonda, which protects everything from being destroyed. He's never going to activate monster effects, so we do just negate that. Like, this allows us to grab like a Conquistador to destroy a card or something. For some reason he doesn't attack there. I'm not sure why. We take out Grand Sea Golgonda, which means now we can pull up his entire board. And now we have Conquistador. We actually have another rollback engraved, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so we can blow up his whole board a second time. We wouldn't even need to, though, because he used half his life points, so we were just going to kill him right there. Yeah, that was a fun game with chat, because we were just talking a lot. Final duel. This is against a Sprite player, if I remember correctly. This is one of the first duels that we did during the stream. Alright. Obviously, you have to get rid of the happy. He's happy to be in the hand. At this point, we're hoping that they activate some sort of a monster effect, but it doesn't look like they will. Zombie Vampire, get a mill. Okay, we'll steal Carrot because it's a trap negate. Here what I like to do is make SP Little Knight. It gets a banish and it's kind of an interruption on their turn. Turns out they had a Nibiru, so at this point I was like laughing to chat like, ha ha ha. You know, we lost like an SP, which isn't really that much, but now you've given us a draw 2. What are we going to draw? Like a grass? Just like a rollback that we can, I don't know, get rid of somehow? What are we going to get with our draw 2? Double Eldlich! You never want to have too many of these guys in your hand. We literally drew both of our Eldlich cards off of Triple Tactics talent. Well, we put one in the grave, and then we put a Huaquero there, so now at least Conquistador is online. So we went from having 0 interruptions and just bodies to at least we have a pop and like an indestructible monster. Sprite, okay. We did banish Carrot, so they don't have any trap negates. We usually only run Carrot at 1. We destroy Gigantic before it activates its effect, so that we can summon Lord of Heavenly Prison. We set a rollback. They usually have a way to like pop our cards, or maybe they'll make Zeus. Yeah, I think this Mosquito is kind of a way for them to make Zeus. It also is almost a way to like try to OTK us. Like if they had if they had a 4th monster, they would kill us, right? Like we took 7,000 damage there. However, they made a mistake. This card locks them into summoning level 2 monsters, so they can't make Zeus anymore, which would have been how they clear our board. Because they can't, they have like 1 monster negate, and we're just gonna play through that and annihilate them. Poor guy. A lot of different types of decks that you get to see, although most of them at this level were like Fire Kings and Snake Eyes. Really fun. I've enjoyed the World Championship so far. We still have to climb to Master 1, but we got a little closer during stream. I just want to show off the deck. I'm not going to go super in detail into the deck profile. I do that at the end of the live stream too. If you've seen a lot of my other videos, you know most of these cards. We have Gamma as just an extra way to get a negate. I don't think having like a Synchro 8 monster is even worth it, honestly. Like we had Omega in the extra deck, but just like wasn't worth it. We never made it. So instead I put in Sky Prison. Like I really like both Zombie Vampire and Sky Prison as going first cards. And then for going second cards, Dingirsu is obviously great, non-targeting send, it protects your field from destruction. And Runick, which is like a walking black hole plus destroy a spell card. It's a really cool going second card. If this card gets destroyed, it also can summon itself out too, usually, because it'll have one material still. Other cards in the extra deck, Blackluster Soldier was absolutely clutch in that last game. Like he just made Fire King Snake Eyes like use their entire extra deck trying to figure out a way to deal with him. It's always important to check your opponent and be like, can you out it though? Like, can you? Anyways, yeah, this was, I'll just click on all of these in case you, oh, we moved a Diabellstar down to 2. Probably if you got rid of Gamma, what I would do if you got rid of Gamma is, I would bring Diabellstar back up to 3. I would throw in Talents and one other card. We were running evenly matched at 2, but I think you should run evenly matched at 3. Just because it's so good going second. And going first, it's like a fine discard off of a Diabellstar or Imseti. Let's see, other interesting cards, interesting text. We were running the pot cards. Obviously, you can only use one and not the other, but they just increase the consistency of the deck. You want to see your Horus engine. You want to see grass. You want to see a lord that can get you to grass or whatever you need. Let's see, any other new things about this deck? Nope. Yeah, this feels like we're getting a lot closer to what an optimized version of the deck might be. I feel like this deck also doesn't have any techs that are super specific to an opponent's deck, right? Like we don't have like, okay, we need 4 of this type of floodgate to annihilate Fire Kings, or we need this specific card to really make that deck really impossible. Like I feel like something like this deck, like in this version, could be really good for a long time, unless obviously some new cards come out that change the format. There's going to be a couple of new extra deck cards, like there's a level 10 that's like an Omni Negate, and then there's like a new like Zeus alternative that are kind of come out in the next couple of months, but I feel like we're getting a lot closer to what an optimized 60 card Eldlich Horus Mill deck might look like. Okay, just for the people who need it, I'm just really quickly going to click on all the cards so you can pause the screen if you want to, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hope that you're enjoying all these videos, that you're able to have fun. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a crazy game, lots of plays are possible, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.